Alright, welcome to my channel. This is Lock Chuck. What I'm kind of doing today is I've been chatting with Chris about, he was asking about if I'd pick this, done a video on picking this, and I don't believe I've done it on camera, or if I have, it wasn't on one of my videos, may have been on a live or something. But so I wanted to talk about two things: how I pick it, or how I decoded it, and then how I kind of, what I do to kind of decode, or if I don't know, how do I get through a lock. So what I do is I kind of map it out. So I take a piece of paper, I label the gates, and this is kind of matching my pick. So it's 0 through 5. Then I also come in here. I'm starting it, you have to understand my paper is backwards kind of, but it matches the pick. So when I'm at here, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but when I'm here, this is when I'm at the tip of the lock. So I want the paper to match my pick. It makes it easier for me to keep up. And so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is where I got a Sharpie mark there to kind of help me stay on track. So that it is my mark. I'm just gonna make that so I know that that's my mark. So these are the gates. And sorry, my power is trying to go out due to the storm. Hopefully it doesn't go out. But anyway, we'll keep going. My lights are still on. Okay. So also for this one, I do put a little small 3mm by 2mm thick magnet on the tip, because this will slide into the back. This one cannot be pre-rotated because it has a fixed disc. It's actually in the number 2 slot. So this one will be a fixed disc anyway on mine. But here's the bitting, just so you kind of got an idea what the bitting looks like. So what I do is, when I don't know the lock, and something I've kind of learned from picking on these locks, I'll kind of talk to as I'm going through it. So I'm gonna get it in there. Right now it's not pre-rotated because, like I said, it has a fixed disc and you can't pre-rotate. This is going to kind of help me stay on the first disc because there's so much space in the back of this lock. So I'm going to just go in, and anything for me, just go ahead and turn. And then what I do, since it has on these, to get my numbers to line up, since I've turned that disc, I'll pull out on my tensioner just a little bit and get it up against the second disc, which is a fixed disc in this one. So then I will go, see, everything should be at the 5 position. So I'll go all the way to the back, and it's maybe hard to see. I'm gonna try to get the camera a little bit closer. So right now, the first line is actually the number 2 position, because the tensioner is on the number 1, or the rearmost disc, I guess, if you want to call it. I'm counting from the back of the lock to the front of the lock. So I'm on tension disc 1. Right now my picking tip is on disc 2. It should not move because it is a fixed disc. So then I'm on, and it's a 5, so it will not move. So then on my paper, of course, because I'm decoding this, I'll go ahead and put an asterisk there because I know that is the disc. Okay, I mean, that's a fixed disc. It has to be at a 5 cut. All right, I'm assuming that this is the 0, but I technically don't know yet. These could be random, but my number 1 is in the 0 position. Let me try to get this a little higher. So that's a 1. So, or excuse me, a 0. That's gonna be the 0. So now I'm gonna move into my number 3 slot. Now this thing's all in my way. I put my camera right in front of my face. It's not good for me. Good for you, not good for me. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can look under here and go to the next position. All right. So I'm on disc 3 now. All right. I'm gonna move it. Try and feel for a gate. Very gritty. I'm gonna let up some tension, let it move. All right. It's not really giving me anything. Okay. So I'm kind of getting a bind right there, somewhere about disc 2. And then I'm gonna go to the next. It just bind, it didn't get any click. Alright, so that one stops at this, or position 3. All I'm trying to do right now is get a gate. Alright, that one wants to stop at 2. Because I'm hoping if I can get everybody in a gate, then I'll get more feedback. Okay, that one doesn't feel like it wants to get anything, so I'm gonna leave it at 0. We'll see. Alrighty, so I'm on 7 now. Kind of get bound up right there on 1. So let me go to the next one. And all I'm trying to do is get stuff in a gate so then I can get better feedback. Alright. Slipped off. Okay. And let's see. Came out of the lock. Let's see. Again, no feedback. So now I'm gonna start over and see if I'm starting to get some feedback. Hopefully I got things in a gate. Remember, I can't do anything with 2, so I'm gonna start on number 3, pick up wherever I left it off at. And I'm gonna apply pretty good tension because these locks like tension. Okay, I'm definitely now in a gate on 3. Okay, I don't know if it's a true gate or not. So I know at disc 3, at position 3, there's a gate. So then I will take over here on my chart, gate 3, position 3, and I'll put a G there for a gate. Okay. And usually what I have found out, not always, but usually the gates go in increments. So if there's a gate at 3, there'll probably be a gate at 1, 3, and 5. So I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna see if one of them gives me any better feeling than the other. So there's the gate at 1. So it goes from just over, I'm looking at the width here. So it doesn't go a full 2. So now I'm gonna go back to 3. Check that gate. Not quite, about 1.5. Now I'm gonna check 5. Like I said earlier, usually there's a gate there, and I'm getting a little bit less. So to me, I'm gonna go back to 3. I'm gonna check 3. If I can get back to it. All right. 3 feels the widest right now, and I get a little bit of rotation on my tensioner. So I think that's a pretty good gate, but I know there was a gate at 5 and there was a gate at 1. But right now, this one feels the best. So I'm gonna kind of just put a little mark there telling me that that one feels the best. So I'll try to show you my paper. Let me see. My hand's in the way. Maybe you can see it. See, I put a gate at 5 for disc 3, 1 at 3, which I think that feels the best, and then 1 at 1. So, all right. So I'm gonna go to the next position, find the disc. All right. See where I'm at. So there's a gate at 4. So I know there's a gate at 4. I'm gonna write over here, position 4. There's a gate at 4. Okay. Don't know if that's the right gate, so I'm gonna test my theory here. I'm gonna go to 2 and see if I find a gate. All right, there is a gate at 2. Okay, so I know there's a gate at 2. Now I'm gonna check the next. Go skip over and I'm gonna go to 0. See if I can feel a gate. Okay, there is a gate there. Okay, that one's moving almost 2 positions. So I'm gonna write down that one moved. Well, I'm gonna put a gate or G there. So I'm gonna go back and check each one. What I'm feeling for is the width and how much my tensioner moves when I put it on the other gates. So I'm gonna go back to 2. Tensioner didn't move much. I felt a click on that, and that moves almost 2 positions. So I think that one I'm gonna go back to 0, see if I can tell what the width there was. Not quite. it's not as much. So I'm going back to put that one on 4 because that one is wider. Okay, I'm also going to underline 4, just kind of my guess. These are guesses right now. It can change. So now I'm going to go to 5. Do the same thing. All right, I'm definitely at a gate at 3. It's kind of grabby. If it's also dragging, that's not a good sign that it's the true gate. All right. So I'm going again. There should be 1 every 2 positions. So if it's 1 at 3, there should be a gate at 1. I'll go 1. Very little dragging, and I'm moving almost 2 slots. So I know there's a gate at 1. So going back to the theory, well, you can't see the paper, but going back to the theory, there should be a gate every 2. So I got 1 at 1, I got 1 at 3. There should be a gate at 5. Let's check gate 5. Let's go to 5. And this doesn't apply for every lock. All right, so there is a gate there, but there's very little movement. I don't even get 1 position out of that movement. So I'm gonna go back, check 3, just dragging. I'm gonna go back to 1, and it's free. It's in a gate, but it's moving free. It's not dragging, but very little. So I believe that is a 1, okay? And I need to put my gate at 5 too. This helps me map it out, so if something's not right, I know where the gates are, and I can try different positions. So, okay, so that was disc 5. Let's find 6. Alrighty, so let me find where 6 is. Where are you at, 6? Where'd I leave you? Okay, 6 was at 0. That feels like a gate, so if that's true, there should be a gate at 2. And there is. And there should be a gate at 4. Alright. Not getting a lot of movement. Check 5 real quick. Might have been wrong on that one. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, that feels like a gate at 4. So there should be one at 2 down. Come on. Not getting very positive movement. So it's at 3. So I may just... Oh, when I went to 0 right then, I felt the core move. So I know there's a gate at 0. So number 6, I'm going to say is a 0, or I'm going to say there's a gate at 0. And I felt the core move. We'll go back one more time, check 2. It does bind up, but not very well. Well, I'll tell you what. Nope, I'm not feeling any other gate. Nope, so only 0. So I'm going to say that's the only gate. Alright. Okay. So the next one is number 6. I'll find the disc in the 6th, or excuse me, 7. This is the wrong gate. This 7. Alright, I'm at 2 and I'm in a gate. Let's check 0. Okay, there is a gate at 0. So I'm going to put a gate at 0, a gate at 2, and then I'm going to check 4. Whoa. When I went back over 2, I felt my tensioner turn. I felt it turn, so that's a good sign for 2. Well, it moved on 4 just a little bit. So now I'm going to compare between 2 and 4 and see if I can tell which one feels better. So that one's only moving about 1 position. Position 2. Wow, I'm getting almost 2. So I believe 2 is my true gate there. Alright. So now I'm going to position 8. Okay. So it's in a gate at 0. And we'll check 2. There's a gate at 2. And there's a gate at 4. So there's a gate here, here, and here. Let me try to show you that. I know you can't see. So there's, for number 8, there's a gate at 0, 2, and 4. So now I'm going to try to determine between those 3 which one feels the best, okay? So 4 feels, let's see, 4 moves, that goes from about there. Not quite getting, about 1.5. So let me try 2. Okay. I'm not quite getting 1. Then if I go to 0, not quite about getting 1. So let's see. Let's do that. So 0, not quite about getting 1. 2. Let me see. Make sure I'm on it good. So that's about getting about 1 movement out of position 2, and then 4. I'm getting just over. I mean, it's so close. I mean, I'm getting about 1 between 1 and 2. So now I can't really tell a good difference. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feel for movement on the tensioner. Okay, coming in and out of it. And I'm also feeling for the drag. So I'm gonna go to 2. Oh, I heard an audible click when I went back to 2 that time. But it's starting to bind, so I'm not sure. I think that may be a 4. Okay. 4 feels like it frees up a little bit more. So I'm gonna put my line under 4. Okay. Alright. So now I'm gonna go to the next one. Where's it at? And I bumped it in position and we're open. So I said that was a 4, and that one I think was a 0. So now I'm going to decode it and see. Sorry for the long video, but this one's kind of going through my whole process. So now I'm into the decoding mode. Lock is open. I'm going to leave it open so I don't lock it back. Alright. So I'm at position, let's see, I'm trying to get this where you can see. Alright, I'm just going to lay this here. So there's position 9, and I'm trying to get my paper in sight too. Position 9, okay, I'm going to turn it that way. Same way I'm tensioning, it stops at 0, so that is definitely a 0. I'm going to circle 0 now. This one I thought was a 4. Let's see if it's still a 4 or wherever it is. Alright. Alrighty, so yep, I'm going to just bump it there. It's a 4, so I'm going to circle the 4. That's my gate. That's my code. This one was, let's see, am I going the right direction? Maybe I need to pull this way. Should be a 2. Yep, it's 2. I need to go the other direction, sorry. It's really light tension. Okay. Make sure I read that one right. Get on there. Yeah, that's a 4. That one right there should be a 0. Okay. Thought it was. Yeah, it's just really light tension when you're decoding. So that one should have been a 2. Yep, it's almost to a 2. This one should be a 0. Yep, it's a 0. Yep. Okay, then I'm at position 5. Oops, went past it. That's a 1. And we said there was a gate at 1. And then there is one at 4. So yep, it's not quite there, but yeah, that's a, can't do much tension when you're, or force when you're decoding. Just, yep, that's a 4. So that one's correct. Okay. Then that one should be a 3, which I said it was a 3. And then we knew that this one was a fixed position at 5. So we know that is a 5. That is correct. And of course this one will be a 0 cut here. So because we're tensioning off of it. Because if it wasn't at 0, it would have never turned. I'd have had to front tension this lock. So let me lock this back up. get my pick out. This one's a little bit difficult because that fixed disc, sometimes I have to go in with the picking tip and get everything in front of that fixed disc turned back so my tip will come out. Let's see. Come on, go back there. I'm gonna turn all the discs back so I can get the picking tip out. Okay, and hopefully once we get past that. Anyway, I'll do that later. So that's kind of my decoding. Let me back up a little bit more. Maybe that'll help out. So that's how I kind of decode. This matches, if you will, matches my pick more than it does the lock, because it's easier for me to keep up where I'm at on the pick if I draw it this way. So you can draw it any way you like, but when you line it up with the key, so when you line it up with the key, looking at the key, the first position here is a 0, which it was. Then you got a 5, which is that fixed disc. Then it should have been a 3, which is right there. That's a 3. Then it should have been a 4, which is a little bit deeper cut. And then if you look, that should have been around a 2 or a 1. Yep, it was a 1. And then a 0, which should have been no cut, which is that one right there. And then back to a 2, and then to an 8, and then the last disc is a no cut or a 0 there as well. So that is kind of my process of decoding the lock, and what I'm feeling for. And what was happening when I was getting here was I was down to the last 2 discs to be set, and when you do that, everything even the true gates start dragging. That's why it's hard to tell which one's free. You just still have to kind of go by the size. So where these weren't, these discs were holding these off, so the bar wasn't on them, so you can get a little bit of free turn before you start getting. But if everything is set right, when you start getting down to those last discs, everything's going to start to drag because you're down to 1 or 2 discs that's holding it up. And all this was set, so if you think of the bar, all these are dropped in, and as I'm setting them, that bar is getting further and further down. It's dragging on every disc. So all right, I hope this was helpful. This is the process I go through to decode an Abloy Classic. It works for other locks as well. It just happens to work out for this lock. It's not every Abloy, but it works out that the spacing between gates is every 2. So like for every, if it's evens, they're all gonna be even. If they're odds, they're all gonna be odds. That doesn't work for all of them. And like right here, this was a 0 cut. There are no gates. I have found out when it is a 0 cut, there are no gates. I believe when I felt this one, remember this one was dragging the whole way. So usually if I don't feel a gate, it's a 0. So that's some tips I can give you. But that's my process of decoding, and that's how I got this one decoded and got the key. Was able to cut a key for it. So all right, have questions or whatever, please let me know. And if you want to see something different or see something more, let me know. Thank you.